Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going through the London system. This is an old and very popular opening, and I just want to show you the main line and give you some tips on how to remember this opening. Chess enthusiasts know that the game of chess has many openings. Each opening has its own set of rules and moves and strategies. One such opening that has become to gain popularity is the London system. In this video, we take a look at this opening and give you some tips to remember the moves. Remember, chess is a game of strategy, creativity, and mental agility. Each move counts, and the decisions you make ultimately determine the outcome of the game. Without wasting your time, let's get into it. The London system is a strategic opening in the game of chess for white. Its origins trace back to the 1920s, when a group of players, including Richard Greffield, played games using this strategy. However, it wasn't until the 1970s that it gained popularity, with players like Tony Miles, Nigel Short, and John Spielman used it in their games. The London system is a chess opening that was named after the London Chess Club, where it was first introduced. It is a versatile opening used by players of all levels. This opening is characterized by the moves d4, knight f3, and bishop f4. The king's bishop is placed on the f4 square, which is why it is called the queen's bishop opening. Okay guys, I want to take you through the main line of the opening. The main line is as follows: d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, and bishop f4. After these moves, white's plan is to place the pawns on c3 and e3, developing the knights to c3 and d2, castling kingside and putting pressure on black's position. This is now the main line of the London system. Remember, like I said in the introduction, chess is a game of creativity and agility. These moves do not necessarily need to be remembered in the sequence of the main line, but the main line should be used as a guide to also improve your creativity and your strategic play. Tip number 1. Understand the logic of the opening. The first tip to remember in the London system is to understand the logic behind the opening. White aims to control the center of the board with the pawns and the pieces. By placing the bishop on f4, white intends to put pressure on black's position, threatening to capture the knight on e5 and thus gaining control of the center. Tip number 2. Remember the earlier moves. The second tip is to remember the London system is to focus on the early moves. Remember, after d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, and bishop f4, white usually plays c3, e3, and knight d2. You should also keep this in mind that the queen's bishop can be developed either to e2 or to d3, depending on black's responses. Tip number 3. Knowing the possible responses. The third tip to remember the London system is to know the possible responses from black when facing this opening. Black can either develop their pieces normally or try to challenge white's position with such moves as d captures c4 or e6. Remember, when it comes to the London system, you must know what black can usually respond with to also crush your position and also give you fighting ability for the center. Accuracy is important when it comes to responses. Be mindful of this. Tip number 4. Understand the pawn structure. The fourth tip to remember in the London system is to understand the pawn structure. White aims to control the center with the pawns on d4 and e3. Black, on the other hand, will try and break the center pawn chain with the moves like c5 or e6. Understand how the pawn structure evolves the key to developing White's winning strategy. Tip number 5, practice and repetition. The final tip to remembering the London system is to practice, 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 and practice again. Repeat the opening moves until they become second nature. Repetition is key to mastering any opening, and the London system has no exception. Practice and understanding the main line over and over again will allow you to be able to play it in any sequence. Whether you take up the bishop first or you take up the knight first, you need to practice and understand all the ideas, the traps, and the winning strategy, and the whole idea behind the London system. I cannot stress this anymore. Practice, practice, practice.